If it's Wednesday, it's Hump Day Hangover. Greetings everyone, I'm Bart, and if this is your first time joining us, welcome, and for those of you coming back, good to see you again. This week's episode is really very cool. It's entitled, Success Depends on Maturity. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, or join me with a cocktail, and let's get started. This is Hump Day Hangover. Now today's story, Success Depends on Maturity, comes from the iconic Queen of Advice, Ann Landers. Now you see, Ann Landers taught us many things, and the thing she teaches us about maturity is that maturity is indeed many things. You see, it is the ability to base a judgment on the big picture and the long haul. It also means being able to resist the urge for immediate gratification and to opt for the course of action that will pay off later. Now, one of the characteristics Ann talks about of young people is the need for always wanting it now. Grown-ups, for the most part, should be able to wait. It's not that immediate gratification that you need, but it's where you're able to see what you're doing now pays off down the road, pays off tomorrow, the next day, down the road somewhere. You see, maturity is perseverance. It is the ability to sweat out a project or a situation in spite of heavy opposition. It's the ability to stay with it and maintain your focus, even through discouraging setbacks, and to stick with it until you're finished. You see, the adult who is constantly changing friends and changing mates is actually an adult who is immature. He or she cannot stick it out because, essentially, they've not grown up. Maturity also is the ability to control anger and settle differences without violence or destruction. Think about that for a moment, and think about the world in which we live. Maturity is the ability to control anger and settle differences without violence or destruction. You see, the mature person can face unpleasantness, frustration, discomfort, and defeat without collapsing or complaining. The mature person knows that they cannot have everything their own way every time. They also are able to defer to circumstances, to other people, and to the time. They know when to compromise, and they're not too proud to do so. Maturity is humility. It is being able to say, I'm wrong. I was wrong. And when you're right, the mature person need not experience the satisfaction of saying, I told you so. You see, being right is an honor the mature person has. They accept it and they know from there. See, maturity is the ability to live up to your responsibilities. This means being dependable. Dependability is the hallmark of integrity. It means keeping your word. Do what you mean what you say, and do you say what you mean? Unfortunately, the world has many people who cannot be counted on. When you need them most, sometimes they're among the missing. They never seem to come through in the clutches, and they break promises, and they substitute alibis for performance. They show up late or not at all. How many people do you know are constantly late? That is the sign of immaturity. If maturity is what success depends on, imagine how much more successful they would be if they showed up on time. Many people are also confused and disorganized. Their lives are a chaotic maze of broken promises, of former friends, of unfinished business, and of good intentions that somehow never materialize. We're always a day late and a dollar short. How do you deal with that? How do you overcome that? As she said, it's about being dependable, depending on yourself to be yourself. Maturity is also the ability to make a decision and stick with it. Immature people spend their lives exploring endless possibilities and then doing nothing. You see, action requires courage, and without courage, very little is accomplished. Once again, action requires courage, and without courage, very little is accomplished. Maturity is the ability to harness your abilities. You see, it's what you do with your energies and the fact that you do more than what is expected. The mature person refuses to settle for mediocrity. They'd rather aim high and miss the mark than aim low and make it. Finally, maturity is the art of living in peace and that which cannot be changed. Once again, maturity is the art of living in peace with that which cannot be changed. The courage to change that which should be, no matter what it takes, and the wisdom to know the difference. Sound familiar? Once again, maturity is the art of living in peace with that which cannot be changed, but having the courage to change that which should be changed, no matter what it takes, and the wisdom to know the difference. Let's take a moment, look at our journaling activities for this week. As with always, start out with your wins. List the wins you celebrated today and this week. Then ask yourself, what does maturity mean to you? Who are people in your life that you consider mature and mature thinkers? And what characteristics do they possess that you wish you had? And who is someone you may not know that you consider mature? And what characteristics do they demonstrate you wish you had? And today's bartism, it's pretty cool. Maturity is not measured by age. It's an attitude that is built by experience. Let that sink in for a minute. Age has nothing to do with maturity. It's about an attitude that is built by experience. And don't forget that gratitude list. List 3 to 5 things you're grateful for. And once again, I'm so grateful that you joined us today. And when you display maturity and you build that experience, guess what? You're living life in your spotlight. So thank you once again for spending a few moments with me. Hit that subscribe button below. Click the bell next to it. Go out to my website, gogetbart.com. Down at the bottom, you'll see all my links to social media. Click on those links and follow me on social media. And of course, visit the Success Store. And remember, what comes to mind when someone mentions your name? That is your brand. So thank you, Ann Landers. And until next Wednesday, this has been Hump Day Hangover. Ciao.